Welcome to our channel, USA Coin Spot. Before you cash in change, find this one rare wheat penny. Top 1. Have you ever looked at a simple penny and thought it might be worth more than your entire paycheck? Because today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood, overlooked, and shockingly valuable coins in American history. I'm talking about the 1944 American wheat penny. But not just any 1944 penny. We're going to uncover the rare proof coin. The one that has stunned collectors and auction houses alike. And if you have one sitting in your old coin jar, you might be holding something worth tens of thousands of dollars, without even realizing it. Now, if you're like most people, you probably think a penny is just a penny. Right? But not all pennies are created equal, especially when we talk about the mysterious 1944 wheat penny made from a proof set. This isn't your average pocket change. This is where things get interesting. You see, in 1944, the US Mint was still reeling from the effects of World War II. Most pennies that year were made of copper, unlike the 1943 pennies, which were made of steel. But the 1944 proof pennies? Those were produced in very limited numbers, with extreme precision, shiny finishes, and hand-polished dies, never intended for circulation. Most collectors have never even seen one in person. Now here's the twist. Only a tiny number of these proof coins are known to exist today. And fewer still are in near-perfect condition. But why does that matter? Because in the world of coin collecting, rarity plus condition equals massive value. And these 1944 proof wheat pennies, they check both boxes. Let's talk numbers. The part you've been waiting for. Some of these coins, when found in verified proof condition and especially in high grades like PR66 or better, have sold for between $2,700 and an unbelievable $86,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right. $86,000. For a single 1-cent coin from 1944. That's more than a new car. More than some down payments on a house. And it could be sitting in a collection you inherited, or even in a pile of change you haven't checked in years. So how do you know if you have the real deal? Here's what to look for: sharp, mirror-like surfaces, clear strike details, especially on Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks, no mint mark if it came from Philadelphia, and if you see one in a sealed proof set from 1944. Stop everything and get it appraised, because trust me, this isn't just coin collecting. This is treasure hunting, and the 1944 proof penny is one of the rarest gems you can find. If you're serious about finding coins worth real money, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because we're just getting started. I break down coin values, rare finds, and hidden fortune pennies that people throw away every single day. And if you have an old coin collection sitting somewhere, it's time to dust it off, because that little brown penny could be your next big payday. Thanks for watching. And remember, not all that glitters is gold, sometimes it's copper. Top 2. Imagine flipping through an old coin set, something you inherited from your grandfather or found at a garage sale, and inside, tucked away in a plastic case, is a penny from 1955. Just 1 cent. You don't think much of it. After all, it's just a penny, right? But here's the shocking truth most people don't know: that one little coin, if it came from a 1955 proof set and is in the right condition, could be worth more than a luxury vacation. In fact, in some cases, it could be worth more than a luxury car. Yes, you heard that right. This is not the regular 1955 wheat penny that millions of people carried in their pockets. We're talking about the 1955 proof penny, a collector's edition coin, struck by the US Mint with incredible precision. Each one was carefully made using polished dies and high-quality metal blanks. These coins weren't made for circulation. They weren't meant to be used to buy candy or bubble gum. They were created for collectors, struck slowly, struck cleanly, and struck with intention. And because of that, they are stunning to look at. Mirror-like surfaces. Sharp edges. Full details on Lincoln's bust and the wheat stalks. These are the types of coins that make serious collectors sit up straight and pay attention. But here's what makes it even more fascinating. Back in 1955, proof sets were sold for just a couple of dollars. Most people didn't think twice about opening the set, touching the coins, leaving fingerprints, or letting them tone and corrode over time. And once those coins lost their flawless surfaces, they lost their shot at true value. That's why today, it's incredibly rare to find a 1955 proof penny in pristine, untouched condition, and the fewer of them that exist in perfect condition, the higher the value climbs. Now, let's get something straight. This isn't hype. This is fact. If a 1955 proof penny is still sealed, still bright red, and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC in a top-tier grade, something like proof 66 or higher, it becomes a serious asset. A collector's dream. Most people pass right over these coins without realizing their true worth. They'll trade them away, spend them, toss them in a drawer. But here's the kicker: collectors and dealers are out there paying real money for them. Not a few bucks. Not a couple hundred. We're talking big money. A 1955 proof penny in high-grade condition has sold for as low as $2,700. But that's just the beginning. In the right condition, with the right eye appeal and grade, some of these pennies have gone for as much as $79,000. Yes. A single penny. 1 cent, $79,000. Just imagine discovering one in a box of coins you haven't touched in years. Imagine digging through an estate collection and realizing you're holding something worth more than most people's annual salary. That's why it's so important to understand what to look for. The sharpness of the strike. The brilliance of the surfaces. The lack of marks or cloudiness. These are all details that separate a common penny from one that's worth life-changing money. Most people will never know what they have. They'll let these coins slip through their fingers. But not you. Because now you know what to look for. So if you've got an old proof set sitting in a closet or tucked away in a safe deposit box, it's time to check it. Go straight to the penny. Look closely. Handle it carefully. And if it looks promising, get it professionally graded. You could be holding the key to a serious payday without even realizing it. And if you enjoy discovering the hidden value in everyday objects, if you love treasure hunting without needing a shovel, then make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. Because we're going to keep uncovering coins that most people ignore, coins that turn out to be worth small fortunes. The next time you pick up a penny, take a second look. Because if it's from 1955, and it came from a proof set, it might just be the most valuable thing you own. Top 3. What if I told you that a coin sitting quietly in someone's attic, in a dusty little proof set from the early 1950s, could be worth more than a brand new luxury car? Sounds crazy, right? But the truth is, thousands of people across the US have no idea what they're holding on to. And one of the most overlooked treasures in American coin collecting history is the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny, specifically the one pulled from an official US mint proof set. This isn't the kind of penny you'd find in everyday pocket change. This coin was never meant to be circulated. It was never passed from hand to hand, dropped in vending machines, or tossed into jars. This particular penny was struck with care, using hand-polished dies and high-grade metal blanks. It was minted for one reason only: to be perfect. And perfect is what collectors are dying to get their hands on. Now let's go back in time for a moment. The year is 1952. The US is still feeling the aftershocks of World War II. The economy is booming, and coin collecting is gaining popularity. That year, the US Mint in Philadelphia produced a limited number of proof sets. Inside each of those sets was a coin that looks small, but carries a massive legacy: the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny, minted in stunning proof condition. Now here's the part that most people miss. These coins were produced in limited quantities, far fewer than regular circulation coins. And over the decades, many of these proof sets were cracked open, mishandled, exposed to air, moisture, fingerprints. Some were even used like regular change by people who didn't know what they had. Today, finding a 1952 proof penny in pristine, untouched, gem-quality condition is extremely rare, and rarity is what drives value. But it's not just about how many were made, it's about how many survived in top-tier shape. If a 1952 proof penny still has deep mirror-like fields, full red color, and zero blemishes, it can command serious attention from collectors, dealers, and investors. And when that coin is graded and certified by a top service like PCGS or NGC, its value can jump off the charts. You might be wondering, how much are we really talking about here? Well, here's the truth that most people searching their change drawers and old coin albums don't realize: some 1952 proof pennies have sold for thousands. Not hundreds. Thousands. In fact, if you've got one of these in a high grade, say proof 66 or better, you're not just holding onto a piece of history. You're holding onto a mini treasure chest. Depending on the condition, the eye appeal, and the certified grade, a single 1952 proof penny has sold for as little as $2,700, and in extraordinary condition, they've reached an unbelievable high of $89,000. 1 cent. $89,000. That's more than most people's cars. That's more than some college tuition bills. That's more than years of rent in some cities. And yet, every single year, these coins are discovered in forgotten proof sets, passed down in families, or even sold at yard sales for pennies, literally, because people just don't know what they're looking at. But now, you do. So here's what to do next. If you or someone you know has any original proof sets from the early 1950s, check them immediately. Look for that 1952 penny. Is it sealed? Untouched? Does it still have that rich, red shine and mirrored surface? If so, get it graded. You might be sitting on something worth thousands, or tens of thousands, without even realizing it. If this kind of treasure hunt excites you, if you want to learn how to turn forgotten coins into real money, make sure to subscribe right now, give this video a like, and drop a comment if you've ever come across an old proof set. Because the smallest coin in your collection might just be the biggest opportunity of your life. Top 4. Imagine opening an old drawer, finding a dusty little coin set from the 1950s, and tucked inside, there it is. A small, shiny, perfect-looking penny from the year 1953. Just 1 cent. But what if that one penny could be worth more than your entire savings account? Most people would never believe it. But the 1953 proof Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most overlooked and underappreciated coins in the entire world of American coin collecting. Not because it's old, but because of what it is, and what it represents. This is not your average pocket change. This is not a coin that was tossed in a jar or dropped on the sidewalk. The 1953 penny we're talking about today came directly from an official United States mint proof set, and that makes all the difference in the world. Now, here's what most people don't know: proof coins are a completely different breed. These aren't made for everyday use. They're struck multiple times with polished dies, using specially treated metal blanks, and the result is stunning. Deep, mirror-like surfaces. Sharp, crisp detail. A finish that almost glows. These coins were made to be flawless, and to be collected, not spent. But here's the twist: not all of them stayed flawless. Back in 1953, the U.S. Mint produced a limited number of proof sets, and over the decades, many were opened, mishandled, or lost. Some were cleaned, which destroyed their value. Others were exposed to air, damaging their surfaces. So while tens of thousands of 1953 proof pennies may have been made, only a tiny fraction still exists today in top-grade, untouched, gem-proof condition. And that rarity is exactly what's driving collectors wild. Because when one of these coins shows up in nearly perfect condition, still red, still sharp, still gleaming like the day it was minted, that's when the big money comes into play. You might be holding on to a penny. But to a serious collector? That's not a coin, that's a trophy. So what should you be looking for? Start by checking for that mirror-like surface and sharp, flawless details. Look for full strike on Lincoln's features, especially the hair and beard. And most importantly, make sure it hasn't been cleaned, scratched, or exposed to damage. If it's still sealed in an original proof set, that's even better. Now let's talk about what really matters: the value. This is the part most people can't believe until they see the auction records. If your 1953 proof penny is in exceptional condition, graded by PCGS or NGC as Proof 65, Proof 66, or higher, then you're looking at real collector value. This isn't pocket change anymore. This is investment grade material. Depending on the condition and the certification, the value of a single 1953 proof penny has ranged from as low as $2,700, all the way up to a jaw-dropping $83,000. Yes. 1 cent worth up to $83,000. Think about that for a second. A coin so small, so ordinary to the untrained eye, carrying a value higher than a brand new luxury vehicle. And here's the kicker, most of these coins are still out there. Sitting in basements. Packed away in old boxes. Forgotten in collections that haven't seen daylight in decades. So if you've inherited coins from a parent or grandparent, if you've ever bought a proof set from the 1950s at an estate sale or flea market, or if you even suspect you might have one of these 1953 proof pennies somewhere in your home, now is the time to look, get it graded, get it verified. Because that little copper coin might just be the most valuable thing you own. If you found this video helpful or surprising, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because we're unlocking more hidden treasures every single week. Rare coins, hidden gems, and pennies that are worth a fortune. One day it's a coin. The next day, it's your next big payday.